Alright guys, I decided to finally do a video on leadership training. So here it is, at last. So the first principle of leadership, the most important requirement, is self-sacrifice. It's fairly self-explanatory what that means. It basically means that you're giving yourself up for other people. You're not thinking selfishly, you're not thinking of yourself. All you're going to be doing is helping others all the time, giving up your time and effort entirely for other people's benefit with no expectation of reward. So in other words, what you're doing is you do everything for intrinsic reasons. So basically what that means is that if anyone needs any help in any way whatsoever, you should freely give it and not say, oh, I haven't got time for that, oh, I can't be asked to help you. What you do is you give your time freely constantly to people. Whatever they need, you help them out. Now obviously if they take advantage, they don't turn up for training and things like that, then don't waste your time with them obviously. But as long as they turn up and as long as they want to learn, then you just give your all and you just help them out as much as possible all the time. The other part of it is that you never leave a man behind. So in other words, what you need to do is make sure you do whatever you have to do, take whatever risk you need to take to make sure that everyone gets home safe. And that's your responsibility as a leader to the group. You also make sure that you don't punish anyone for lack of performance. You just keep training them until they improve their performance, so that people don't feel like they're going to lose their position just by making a silly mistake. Okay, next we have a list of 14 leadership traits. It's a good idea to memorize these and go through them and analyze if you can improve in each of these 14 areas. So if you've got an area of weakness amongst these 14 things, then work on that and focus on that. So you might want to write these 14 things down, put them in alphabetical order. Just for convenience, doesn't mean that that's the order of importance. And I'll just run through some of these briefly. Bearing means how you seem as a leader, how you look, whether it's believable that you're a leadership type of person. So if you're a big burly man with a deep voice and all that sort of thing and you're wearing a uniform, people are more likely to believe you're a leader. Courage is pretty self-explanatory there. Obviously you don't want to be irresponsibly crazy and start running out under enemy fire, but you need to show some balls. Decisiveness, obviously again self-explanatory. You've got to be pretty firm and not dither and dather and be unsure of yourself all the time. You can change your mind about things obviously, but make sure that you're firm about it and don't be scared to change your mind. Don't make a big mistake because you refuse to look like you're indecisive when you know that you've made a wrong decision. You need to go, hang on a minute, I think that's definitely a wrong decision. Hang on guys, cancel that. This is what I want us to do instead. Dependability just means that people can depend on you. You're not going to let them down. Endurance just means that you can keep going, not just physically but mentally as well. That you're not just going to go, oh, I'm so fatigued. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you can keep going while everybody else is failing. Never give up, always be a fighter. Enthusiasm, self-explanatory, but the main thing with that is that you don't want to turn up and go, oh guys, alright, how's it going? Yeah, I can't be asked for this. You've got to go, hey guys, come on, let's do this, yes! Because obviously if you're feeling rather apathetic, that's going to spread and everybody else is going to end up feeling apathetic as well, which won't help. Initiative means that you don't just do everything by the book, you think outside the box, you think laterally about things, you take advantage of opportunities. As things change, you don't just have a fixed idea about how to do things, you are fluid in the way you think. Integrity is doing the right thing even if there's nobody there to see you doing the right thing. Being completely trustworthy no matter what. Judgment is pretty basic, just don't be a complete idiot. Don't make the wrong decisions. Justice is just that you make sure that you always do right by people. You don't do things that are unfair. You make sure that there's a general sense of justice in the group. That you don't punish people unjustly and things like that. There's things like you don't show favoritism to people. If someone does something wrong, you don't just have a different punishment for different people, depending on how popular they are or whatever. Knowledge just means that you need to know your stuff. Don't expect everybody else to be an expert at everything. You want to be an expert in every possible area you can be. Knowledge is power. You shouldn't have to leave it to other people to learn their particular job. You need to know everyone's job yourself as well as they do, if not better. Loyalty, obviously don't be a backstabbing bastard. Don't slag people off behind the backs and things like that. Selflessness is generally covered in the whole self-sacrifice thing. You don't want to be thinking about yourself all the time. You want to be just giving constantly. And finally, sensitivity, which is one I find particularly difficult myself. I'm sure a lot of people do. That even if you think someone's completely wrong, or if you know they're completely wrong, is not saying it in a insensitive way and hurting their feelings. I'm trying to say it in a tactful way and to be diplomatic about things and try not to hurt people's feelings. Because obviously, when you hurt people's feelings, they're not really going to want to do what you say, follow you, or listen to you. It's going to cause a communication breakdown, which is totally unnecessary if you were sensitive to their feelings. So I've just written 4 general principles here. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. Set the example to your guys. Know your team and look after their welfare, basically. And a bit more detail here. Obviously, keep your troops informed at all times. Take full responsibility for your actions and the actions of your troops. Do not blame others. Even if it's not directly your fault, if somebody makes a mistake, you say, well, that's because I didn't train them properly originally. You've got to take full responsibility. Don't play the blame game. Nobody will like that at all. Ensure tasks are understood, supervised, and accomplished. So you need to make sure that everyone does understand what you've just told them to do. So you ask them, do you understand? Has everybody got that? And then you watch and you supervise as they do the task. And then at the end, you make sure it is completed to your satisfaction. Train your troops as a team. So you need to make sure that you're not training them as individuals who've got these individual skills. They need to constantly be doing everything they do with the teamwork in mind. Employ your command in accordance with your team's capabilities. In other words, you're not expecting them to do stuff that they haven't been trained to do, and you know what they're capable of doing. If you know what they're capable of, you just get them to do what you know they can do. Don't ask them to do stuff that you know there's not much chance of them being able to complete the task because you're asking too much of them. Right, okay, and finally, just some more general leadership guidelines. These have already been covered to a certain extent. Patience, giving clear directions. Do not over supervise. So in other words, you say to them, right, you go and attack that building there. And as long as you've trained them, you should know that they know how to go about doing that. You don't need to tell them in exact detail how to go about it. As long as they've done their battle drills, then they will know where to position themselves and all that sort of thing. If you haven't trained them yet, obviously they won't know that, so you will have to supervise them. Demand accountability. Obviously, if you're going to be accountable to a lot, you need to make sure that they know that they've got to do things properly. Develop loyalty, which is by being selfless and being loyal to other people, then people will be loyal in return. Reward and encourage, so when they do well, don't just stay silent and not say anything. Always say nice one, a good shot, stuff like that. Maintain integrity. That's for everybody. Make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. And anticipate needs. You've got to think about the possibilities of what they may need at some point before it happens, before they suddenly turn around and go, oh my God, we need this. You need to anticipate that and be ready to provide them with whatever they need before they ask for it. So I hope that helps with everybody learning how to develop your leadership skills, because it's one of the most important things in not only military sims in the real military, but also in life in general. It's in interaction with other people. See you around, guys.